Happy Tuesday, America! This is Ben Goldman, host of the Ben Goldman Show. I'm coming to you July 23rd, and I've got the news for you. Today, we'll be covering, by request of some of my fans yesterday, quite a bit about these Ilhan Omar scandals. She's wrapped up in some pretty bad anti-Israel stuff, along with some tax issues and threatening some people. So this is going to be a fun one. Also today, Boris Johnson, a known Brexiter and conservative in England, referred to as the Donald Trump of the UK actually, just got elected to be Prime Minister by an astounding 66% of the parliamentary vote. Way to go, Boris. That'll be a good one as well. And former disgraced FBI Director James Comey actually had apparently planted a spy in Trump's White House to try to get dirt on him, according to a new IG report. This and more coming to you today from the Ben Goldman Show. First, let's start with Ilhan Omar. So Ilhan, if you're not aware, supports something called the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Movement against Israel. Now, essentially what this movement is, the BDS movement, is basically Palestine tries to get countries and companies and stuff to boycott Israel to hurt them so they can't trade or work with anybody anymore. Of course, most Americans, including most Democrats actually, are completely against this because Israel's one of our closest and only friends in the world, honestly. But Omar's all about this. To try and stop her, though, I have to give credit where credit is due because House Democrats are currently putting together a bill to oppose the BDS movement in the Congress officially and strike it down so that Americans cannot use it to try to hurt Israel. Unfortunately, not everyone agrees, and Omar and her little squad are part of them. Her and Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashid Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, I believe is the last one. These people oppose Israel, love Palestine, want to destroy Israel, want to give Palestine all the means to do that. But the reality is when they let Palestine do stuff like that, it completely destroys the opportunity to have negotiations of any form to bring any kind of peace between them two. That's what they're shooting for. They're shooting for Israel, honestly. That's what they're shooting for. They're shooting for and at Israel because Palestine is the organizer and the head of the BDS movement. That's the truth. It's the honest-to-God truth. But it's not only that with Omar. No way, it never is. You see, there are actually pictures and records out to support the notions that Ilhan Omar was absolutely married to two people at the same time, one of them possibly being her brother, very possibly to be able to commit immigration fraud. Horrible, horrible thing. But this is what it is. I'll show you some of this. But honest to God, this is who Ilhan is. She is a Somali refugee who got into U.S. Congress and unfortunately doesn't like to play by the rules. There's also been new reports coming out that her campaign was actually threatening people who even discussed the possibility that she had had two marriages, being to her brother, for immigration fraud. Actually threatening people. This is real news, guys. This is actually happening. This is the world we live in. This is a U.S. Congresswoman's campaign doing this stuff. And it goes further than that because now the House Ethics Commission has just filed to try to do a full investigation against Ilhan Omar for immigration fraud, marriage fraud, and tax fraud. Apparently, her campaign is also being accused of tax fraud now. And this is a person that the media loves, that socialists love, but this is who she is. She is an anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic, tax-evading, marriage license faker who just wants to do whatever she can in Congress to get her way. We shouldn't trust her. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with just her faith. This woman is untrustworthy. She is untrustworthy. She has proved she is untrustworthy, and that's just how she is. She won't change. She won't change. She'll never change, but that's Ilhan Omar for you. You guys can't be surprised by it. This is what she's always done. This is what she'll continue doing because she's not an American first. It's that simple. She's not an American first. She has her own beliefs, her own socialist beliefs. I don't know if she has any loyalty to the country of Somalia. I can't imagine many people have much loyalty to the country of Somalia. Maybe you guys heard about that one Muslim American journalist who was a big Ilhan Omar supporter, traveled over to Somalia recently to try to prove that Elon's country was not a bad place. It was a beautiful, loving place. And you know what happened to her? She got murdered. Murdered in the streets of Somalia, because that's what Somalia is. So no, I don't blame Elon for wanting to be here over her home country. She can even say this is her home country if she wants to. What I do blame her for is being anti-Semitic, faking her race, what I do blame her for is being anti-Semitic, tax faker, marriage faker, immigration faker. That's what she is. That's why she's bad. Next up, Boris Johnson. Let me start by congratulating now Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Prime Minister Johnson has actually not only won the vote as a conservative, extremely pro no deal Brexiter, but he won by 66%. That's pretty huge. That's pretty massive. That's not a small win. This guy swept, and that's because England is tired of being held at gunpoint by the EU, which they are. The EU has basically told England that unless England gives them everything they want to on trade negotiations, they're going to cut England off. They're not going to trade with them anymore. They're not even going to talk to them anymore. Trump's been nice. Trump said, hey, if it comes to that, we'll give you all the trade deals you want. Great, that sounds good, but Europe needs to come to the table, and they need to understand they don't own these countries. They may think they do. Obviously, the EU is headed by Germany, and Germany has their own history of trying to take over every country in Europe. As someone coming from a Polish-Jewish family myself, we know this all too well. But that's what the EU is. It's a German takeover of Europe. England's not happy with it, so they elected a huge, big-time Brexiter, Boris Johnson, to be their prime minister. Interestingly enough, though, Boris Johnson wasn't born in the UK. You don't have to be born in the UK to be the prime minister, apparently. Boris was born in New York City. That's right. So now England's getting taken over by Americans. They have a new American princess in Meghan Markle and a new American prime minister in Boris Johnson. Congratulations, guys. You did it. We did it. Welcome to the new revolution. It'll be fun. It's a lot of fun. Now, Boris hated Theresa May. Theresa May was the former prime minister. Theresa May was an alleged conservative. Theresa May was picked to handle the Brexit, and she failed. She tried to give Europe every concession that she could, never managed to make any of them successful. Europe turned her down, England turned her down, failed over and over, and people were furious. They were like, hey, Theresa, let's just do a no-deal Brexit. If Europe's not going to be good to us, if they're going to try to hurt us over and over, if they're going to hate us for leaving the EU, no deal. No deal Brexit. No, let me try a British one. No deal Brexit. No deal Brexit. That's a terrible British accent to all my British watchers out there. I apologize. Hopefully it's not too offensive. Maybe you can get a laugh at me if nothing else. Johnson, though, not a total newcomer to UK politics. He was actually mayor of London between 2008 and 2016. Conservative mayor of pro-Brexit mayor of London right before they picked Sadiq Khan, the current mayor of London, who's extremely anti-Brexit, very far left, complete and total opposite of Boris Johnson. So London's got some, apparently London can't really make up its mind about what way to go, whatever. Boris was also foreign secretary under Theresa May, 2016 to 2018, where he trashed her over and over. It was a big embarrassment for her. If you guys followed UK news at all, she was humiliated because her own foreign secretary was coming out in public and attacking her for doing a terrible job. Let's see. He was elected this time to a partial term. A partial term as the United Kingdom Prime Minister because Theresa May actually had to step down after all of her failed Brexit deals. So Boris only got it for a couple of years. But the pro-EU leftists right now are trying to force him to call a second special election for a new prime minister because he's only on a partial term, which is crazy. Honestly, it's insane. They need to just wait the term out, let him fill it out, but this is what leftists do. They try to twist the rules, they try to break everything because they want to see the world run the way they want it to. They are totalitarian, fascist. Unfortunately, this is the truth around the world. the left tends to be the side that goes towards fascism. You saw it with Venezuela. You saw it with the National Socialist Party, the Nazis of Germany. This is what happens when you want to institute socialism, is you need a powerful, strong leader to run everything. Powerful, strong leader to run everything. Apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger is the next Prime Minister of Austria. But anyways, that's why socialism will continue to fail. Now, let's get over to the really fun one. Our good personal friend of the show. Not friend of the show. That was another bad impersonation for you. James Comey. That's right, old Jim, Big Jim Comey, everyone's favorite FBI director, who was fired by President Trump, is back in the news today. Not because he's tweeting obnoxious anti-Trump stuff. No. This time it's all about an IG report. That's right, the Inspector General is actually about to release a report that says not only did Jim Comey lie to Trump repeatedly while Trump was first president to try to convince him that he wasn't under investigation in the Russia probe, but James Comey installed not one, but two spies. Two spies in Trump's White House. Two spies installed by James Comey in Trump's White House. That's right, just to try to prove that Trump was a Russian plant. Now, to make it even worse, the first spy, a guy named Anthony Ferrante, I had to read it off this paper there, a spy named Anthony Ferrante was spying on Trump in the White House, and when he left the White House, he was immediately hired by BuzzFeed to push the Steele dossier. Does that sound familiar to you guys? A BuzzFeed pushing the Steele dossier? Because it sure does to me. That's what the FBI used to justify their investigation into Trump. And this guy, Comey's personal spy in the White House, did that. But it gets even better, much better, because not only was that Steele dossier disproved by Judicial Watch earlier this week when they found an internal FBI document before the investigation started, proving that almost all of the claims in the dossier had actually already been disproven by the FBI. Not just none of them were proven, they were disproven by the FBI and the document was considered illegitimate. Thank you, Judicial Watch, for putting that one out. But Comey actually brought in the second spy right after Ferrante. You see, after Ferrante left, they brought in the second spy, a person named Jordan Ray Kelly. Jordan Ray Kelly was the second spy in Trump's White House by James Comey, and when Jordan Ray left, Jordan Ray and Ferrante both went and got hired at a firm called FTI Consulting in D.C. Weird coincidence, huh? Nice little cush jobs right after leaving the FBI and spying on the president at the same firm. Seems a little suspicious to me. Maybe it's time some you people out there look into FTI Consulting in D.C. That's again FTI Consulting in D.C. Also, for what it's worth, James Comey actually made up a position for Ferrante to get him access to the president the way he did. Unheard of, sickening, very similar to what happened in Watergate. But this is what they do. This is what people on the left do when they don't like stuff. I mean, James Comey is maybe an outlier. The guy is like an incompetent version of Hillary Clinton. Not to say she was the most competent person in the world, but James Comey's a joke. He's a joke. He was going to get caught. The guy's he's an idiot. You hear that, James Comey? You are an idiot. I say this, Ben Goldman, official statement, James Comey is an idiot. Anyways, enough trashing my good best friend ever, James Comey. Let's get to our final thoughts for the day. Again, at request of some of my fans, my final thoughts for the day are all about the squad, or as Trump calls them, AOC plus 3. Let's give you a rundown. The squad, AOC plus 3, are anti-Israel. They are anti-Semites. Israel's the closest ally of the United States. They hate them. They will attack them. They'll support Palestine. They'll condemn anyone who supports Israel. This is who they are. Not only that, but these crazy left socialists that call themselves democratic socialists, they want everyone to live in public housing. Did you read the Green New Deal? Everyone living in public housing, ban on airplanes, ban on gas cars, destroy private businesses. AOC actually says capitalism hasn't been around forever, and capitalism won't be around forever. Good to know her plan is to destroy capitalism and private businesses. She doesn't want people to succeed. She wants people to live under an authoritarian state where she's the leader. It's gross. It's gross. And did you see what Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib did right before she was elected? I'll throw a nice little video up on the screen. Not only that, but Omar may have married her own brother just to get him a green card. Gross. So gross. And then she tries to say one was cultural and one was love. But she's back married with the first one again. So who can say which is which? We've seen Omar try to cheat on her taxes. We've seen her attack Israel. We've seen her with this weird marriage scandal. And she definitely did have those two people she was married to. I'll put that up on the screen again really quickly. But this is what it is. These are the spawn of Bernie Sanders' Democrat Socialist Party. This was inevitable in 2016, after 2016, and of course they became anti-Semitic, anti-Americans, because at the end of the day, socialists are exactly that. We don't want to become a socialist country. We don't want to become communist Russia. We don't want to become Venezuela. We don't want to become Nazi Germany, and this is what socialism leads to. This is what they support. They need to get their act together. They need to decide if they support America or they support socialism. Thank you guys for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow, and have a great day.